Things ain't looking good in the TV world, at least for wrestling. We're being discriminated against, just the wrestling folks. And I think the call needs to go out. You know what I'm talking about, Brian? Doom, 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 doom. When TV ratings disappear and fill promoters' hearts with fear, why folks aren't watching isn't clear. To lose rights fees will cost them dear. They underperform. Speed of lightning, roar of thunder. Some promotions may go under. They underperform. Underperform.
This is your show.
Well, thank you. I just thought I would just pipe in with that. Brian, the shit, as Mama Cornette used to say, may be about to hit the fan in the wrestling business. Do you think? Am I being overly dramatic here based on the numbers that are apparently walloping just the wrestling industry? With the new rating system? We'll get into that, but I think this could be the beginning of the end.
It's going to be very interesting. I'm sure we'll talk more about the ratings later on, but like you said, it seems to be having the biggest negative effect on wrestling. There are plenty of other shows all over, television that are not having these issues suddenly, but wrestling is. In a lot of ways, you have to think, again, it's an inexact science, but it's an expose of maybe a more true number than what it's been the last several years. Now, again, at the same time, young people aren't on cable TV as much, but still. And, there are people using Max, but still. You said, is this, the shit hitting the fan? No, that's going to be when it's time to get a new rights deal. Unless there's some sort of thing that would kick AEW or WWE off one of their deals because they're not hitting certain quotas, I can't imagine that the shit's going to hit the fan really until one of these guys needs a new television deal or a new media rights deal. And even if the partner recognizes the importance in a wrestling audience and how dedicated they are and how they'll always be there, they're going to use this to their advantage in a negotiation. Well, look, the old system said you had this many viewers. The new system, which is more accurate, says that it's not even that, and your key demo number is barely there. It's going to be very interesting.
Very interesting and stupid. But here's something. Go ahead.
Well, no, I'm sorry, you got me thinking about this now, but, when WWE or AEW, but mostly WWE, because AEW is in bed with Warner Brothers Discovery, and until that ends, AEW is going to be with Warner Brothers Discovery. WWE has to go out and find new deals in different places. When it started, like all of this media rights talk, because again, the traditional days of wrestling, no one was getting paid for TV. You begged for TV. You paid for TV, with rare exceptions. But over the last 10 years, give or take, maybe a little bit more than that, when these deals became the story, maybe you look at the beginning like WWE Network. But when the media rights deals became the story, it was all about wrestling being compared to other sports and how valuable those deals are. NHL, NBA, NFL. NFL's the king. But all sports. Even if you think, well, hockey doesn't have a major following in the States, and it certainly has a pretty good following, but they're going to get a big deal even if the numbers aren't there. It's for sports programming because it draws people in. Wrestling was along with all of those shows, even though it's not technically sports. It's sports entertainment, not sports programming, unless it helps them get a deal. But none of the other sports are having this issue. This hasn't hurt the NFL. Major League Baseball just had their most successful game on ESPN like in years for the Yankees versus Red Sox at a time where, like last year, the numbers for everything on ESPN with baseball were going down. So it's only
and they were saying that the new rating system was projected beforehand to benefit the NFL, which nobody was unhappy about because that's their cash cow or whatever. And I was going to say, here's something else: the WWE is somewhat more diversified So all their shit can't go sideways at the exact same time and for, multiple years. But poor Tony's eggs are in Warner's basket, coin purse, wherever they keep Tony. And but you said before, I got to be fair to everybody here, even the people that we don't necessarily think do a very good show. It's only hitting wrestling at such a disproportionate pace, and nobody can explain why. Other shows were slightly up or slightly down or whatever, and wrestling's getting hammered. So, this is going to be a developing situation here. But no, I don't think they're going to pull the plug next Tuesday. But they just when you think you got all the answers, they change all the fucking ways they do the ratings.
And if kids are not watching wrestling on traditional television, and by and large, I'd be surprised that there would be a large audience doing that because that's just not the way they consume content. How come it's not affecting everyone else? And if one of the benefits of doing these shows is they're live, it's live programming, people have to tune in because you can't miss it. But then they're not tuning in, and they're just watching everything on YouTube after the fact or checking out clips on TikTok, then what's even the benefit of doing the live shows at a certain point? So, I mean, this could change a whole number of things going forward. I know we may talk about it later. I hate to go too deep into it, but this is concerning for wrestling.
You've already been pretty deep into it, but
thank you.